The next area of the interface I want to talk about is the top toolbar, which is also called the Operations Toolbar. And the reason why it's called what it's called is because this toolbar contains commonly used operations that we need in View. They are here for easy access, basically. So the first set of buttons I'm calling the New, Open, Save, Save As, and Create Snapshot group of buttons. Create Snapshot allows you to revert back to previously created snapshots. The Save button is activated by left-clicking on it. The Save As button can be activated by right-clicking on the same button. There are many buttons in View which are double-actioned. So this is a double-action button. We can tell it because of the little dot that's located in the corner. The next group of buttons I call the Cut, Copy, Paste, and Duplicate, Scatter, Replicate Objects set of buttons. The Cut and Copy, Paste buttons should be used instead of the keyboard shortcut, the Control-Z undo, or the Control-C or Control-V for pasting. This ensures the View, Cut, Copy, Paste commands are used and not the Windows ones are used. Duplicate button is a double action button we can see from here. So if I roll my mouse over there, it says left click is duplicate and right click is scatter duplicate objects. The next group of buttons is undo or redo. Undo, undo list, redo, redo list. Like the cut, copy, and paste buttons, these are double action buttons as well, and you should definitely use these instead of the Windows version of the keyboard shortcut commands. The next group of buttons is record macro and play a macro or tutorial. Actions can be recorded and macros can be created. Created macros can also be loaded, so you can use someone else's macros. The next group of buttons is Atmosphere Editor, Load Atmosphere, Edit Object, and Paint Ecosystem. Atmosphere Editor is a double action button which can open the Load Atmosphere dialog by right-clicking on it. So if I roll my mouse over there, we can see that it is a double action button. And then our Paint on Global Ecosystem and Paint on Selected Ecosystem is also a double action button. So previous versions of View only had this as a single button, it wasn't a double action button. The next button, which kind of shows four little dots in it, is the Show Material Summary. Show Material Summary is a way to view the materials of a selected object and to access the material editor. In View, there are many ways to access a single operation. So this is just another way to access the material editor. So if I click on it, you'll see all of the materials that is loaded in this scene, and you can simply right click on one to edit it. The next group of buttons is called Select by Wireframe Color, Alignment Tool, Flip Vertical Axes, and Flip Horizontal Axes. These buttons help select wireframe by color, align objects, and flip objects horizontally or vertically. I would have to say, I will have to admit that this is probably an underutilized set of tools. This is something that I should probably use more, but don't actually use very often, because I forget that they're actually up here. The next set of buttons is called Frame, Selected Area, Frame All, Selected Object, Zoom into View, Zoom out of View, Toggle Current View for views. And just like these other buttons here, these I will have to admit is basically a set of buttons that I essentially underutilize, and I think the Frame All Selected Objects will actually allow you to zoom extents to those objects. The next button allows you to toggle between 4 viewports and a single viewport, and you can see here that I'm in a single viewport, and if I click it, it'll take me to a 4 viewport. The last set of buttons is Show Color Picture, Save Color Picture, Show Timeline Animation Wizard, Use Render Area, and Render Options. So if I roll my mouse over this button here, this allows me to browse a previous render or save color picture. This button here allows me to show the timeline or the animation wizard. This button, if I use this, I only need to render a small select area. So if I click on that and say I just want to render this little area right here. And sometimes it can take a long time to render something, and you just need to check just one little small area to see if it came out right. You don't have to actually render the whole scene. You just square in that little area that you need to render, and it will just render that small little area for you, as you can see here. And to make that box go away, you just click on it, toggle it off. The next one is to render. Left click to render and right click to access the render options.